For generations, this was the dream. A house, a yard, a piece of America to call your own. But in 2025, that dream is slipping away. Not with a crash, but with a quiet, suffocating shift. Mortgage rates are falling. Prices are cooling. Yet millions of Americans are still locked out. So what went wrong? And more importantly, what does this new chapter of the American dream really look like? This summer's housing market was supposed to be hot, but instead it cooled quietly, deeply. As the Federal Reserve delivered its first rate cuts of 2025, buyers expected relief. Lower interest rates were supposed to unlock doors, make homes affordable again. But that didn't happen, because the story of housing in America isn't just about rates. It's about psychology, policy, and the slow unraveling of what we were all told to believe. After World War II, homeownership wasn't just an investment, it was identity. By the 1980s, owning a home meant stability, status, and security. But that dream was built on a machine, one powered by low interest rates, loose credit, and decades of rising demand. When the 2008 crash hit, the illusion cracked. Millions lost everything. Yet somehow, we rebuilt the same system, only shinier and more fragile. In 2022, the Fed began its fastest rate hike in decades to fight inflation. Mortgage rates soared past 7%, and home prices hit record peaks. The result? A generation priced out of their own future. And by late 2024, even as the Fed started cutting rates, mortgage rates refused to follow. Because they're tied not to politics, but to something deeper, the 10-year Treasury yield. It was the moment buyers realized the Fed doesn't control their dreams. The market does. Meet Jordan and Alyssa. They've been saving for 5 years, waiting for the right time. Every month, they check mortgage rates, hoping for that perfect dip. But prices keep climbing, slowly, silently. They're watching the dream drift away by inches, not miles. Then there's Maria. She works 2 jobs. Her rent just increased for the 3rd time this year. She wants a home not for wealth, but for peace. But even with the recent rate cuts, her pre-approval letter buys less today than it did last year. Because in 2025, the average home still costs over $420,000. The system isn't designed for her. It's designed to sustain itself. And the builders? They're struggling too. Construction costs are high. Land regulations are tight. Confidence is low, and so are permits. 37% of builders cut prices this summer, desperate to sell. And yet, buyers still hesitate, because fear has replaced urgency. Experts call it the psychology of the pause. People are waiting for the next cut, the next dip, the next crash that may never come. But in waiting, they're losing. Because the housing market isn't just about numbers, it's about trust. Trust that tomorrow will be better than today. Mortgage rates dipped below 7%. Home prices slowed to a 1.9% annual gain, the slowest since 2023. Yet affordability barely improved. Why? Because prices didn't fall fast enough and wages didn't rise high enough. It's a paradox. The market is healing on paper, but bleeding in reality. Experts like Lisa Sturtevant and Keith Gumbinger warn that 2 things must happen for recovery. Inventory must rise, and mortgage rates must fall. But if both move too quickly, we risk another bubble. The truth is, America's housing market is caught in a delicate dance between hope and collapse. But amidst the chaos, something new is rising. A new generation of buyers, smarter, flexible, unafraid to challenge tradition. They're moving to smaller cities. They're sharing homes. They're building wealth differently. They're not waiting for permission to start. This is the quiet rebellion. People rewriting the definition of home. Because homeownership is no longer about status. It's about survival, creativity, and belonging. And for the first time, Americans are realizing that the future of housing won't be defined by price tags, but by people willing to think differently. The great American housing shift isn't just economic, it's emotional. It's the story of a nation realizing that the system we trusted won't save us. But maybe we can save ourselves by adapting, by redefining what ownership means. by turning waiting into action. Because the American dream isn't a house. It's hope. And hope, no matter the market, is something no rate, no policy, and no headline can ever take away.